Hi, this is my top 5 middle champions. For those who are like looking to pick up new champions, and or just for new players, and maybe people who just want to like think like what's the best champions for middle. So yeah, so get right into it. I'll start with honorable mentions. I'll start with Gallio. So Gallio is really good. He can farm good. He can win his lane. He's good counter to most AP mids. That's why he's so good. He's a counter to them. But he's very situational in that he works best versus, you have to pick him making sure you're facing like an AP team or facing AP. Like you don't want to face AD with Gallio, and you have to. And he's a lot of skill shots. He's not like super reliable, but you can hit everything fine on him. He's very wishy-washy, but he's still a really good champion, and you could win games with him easily, even if you're not like in the certain scenarios that he has to be played in. Next up, honorable mentions. Honorable mentions for the Gragas. Now he would have been on my list like a month ago, like number 1 maybe, because he was really good, but they nerfed him, so he's like off the list. He doesn't even nerf that bad. It's just like other people have like shown up like through buffs and stuff that he's not on the list anymore. Gragas is just a really good champion because he can do multiple things as an AP mid. Like he can go like normal AP, do lots of damage AoE, or he can go like assassin-y and still be tanky, and he just burst down one person really quickly and still have the potential to do like a fair amount of AoE damage. So Gragas is very versatile, and he's really good. Next up, I have a fair amount of honorable mentions here. Next up, I have Anivia. Now, Anivia has a special place in my heart because she's Anivia, and she's just amazing. She was like the first champion I decided to like play intently, and she's an amazing champion. She has amazing stats, and she can just play very well in the mid lane. She can beat like almost any lane opponent, and yeah, like there's no real downside to playing Anivia. I just feel like she requires a lot of skill for you to carry with her. So it's not like the best. Out of all these honorable mentions, they're very skill based, so they're not really like the best for you if you want to pick up like the first time. They're pretty expensive, and it requires a fair amount of skill to pull them off. Next off, I have Karthus. So Karthus, I originally didn't have him, but then I was like, how can I forget Karthus with all the play he's seeing lately? He's just really good. His weakness is he doesn't necessarily roam as much as some ADs, but I mean some of the AP mids, or just mids in general. But he just farms, and then late game he's a terror, and he can get kills easily with his R. So he's just a really safe pick. You can farm safely with him. You just have to make sure you're farming safely, not like aggressively farm. That's his weakness. So he does require a bit of skill, but the thing with him is he has a different play style than like any champion in the game, and that is you dive into their team. So that's very different, and it's not easy to pick up on. So yeah. And then I have another honorable mention here. It's my last one, and that is, if I could find it here, I'll just type it in. It's Rise, but I gotta do it. He is just wow. Like he's just an amazing champion. He can, I don't know, I closed it right there. There we go. He has amazing AP damage, and you can build him like a tank. So, well, you do build him like a tank. So he's the bruiser of AP mids. Gallio's kind of bruiserish, but this guy just takes the cake. You build him bruiser, he just tanks, and he does tons of damage. Like there's nothing, there's no like issue with Rise. Like a lot of the AP mids, a lot of mids in general, just like are squishy, and you can focus them, and it's no big deal. But Rise, if you focus them, you know, the rest of your team can, you know, do damage, a fair amount of damage to them in the time that a normal mid would go down. So he's a really good, and he's actually the safest pick of my honorable mentions. And like he works in many situations, and he's really good. Alright, so now we're gonna go down to, let's see here, let's see, oh no, we're just gonna have a special super pick right here. This is my screw pick. This isn't even honorable. This is just like, if you play this champion, screw you, because no, Aerie. No, okay, she's just fallen off. Like the only thing she has for her right now, to me, is her charm and her ult, and she lacks the damage now. Like her damage is kind of lackluster, but if you can hit those, her charms are really good. That's like the best thing about her, and she has lots of mobility with her ult. But she's just like fallen off. Her damage is kind of like fallen off really hard, I think, and she's just not that good. So just no. Okay, no. Okay, just screw that champion. So then moving on, we have the super counter to Aerie. Oh my lord, there it is. Swain, number 5. This is the start of the list. Number 5, I have Swain. Now, why Swain? He's so mana heavy. Once you figure him out, once you learn how to play Swain, you will be an immovable object, and you're kind of like this. You're this tanky beast, and it's just so good. He's like so good late game. It just does so much damage, like sustained damage, and his snare is amazing. Like he's just a really good champion. Like you can beat a lot of mids just because of your like slight like beefiness, and you just sustain in lane when they have to back. So he's just a really good champion, and I'm surprised that he isn't seeing more play, just because he's really good. Like 5th on my list. I would have no one else here that would like number 5. Like no one I could see else pass him. Like he's really good. Let's get moving here. Number 4. You'd probably expect this guy to be higher up. Twisted Fate. Now, Twisted Fate, amazing chap. His ult is amazing. You gank. You can snowball the game. You can snowball your team. You can do all this work. Like he's a really good champ. The only thing is the reason why he's not higher on this list is because kind of the skill level it takes to play him. You need to figure him out, and it's not easy to learn. Like you can't exactly like just pick him up and learn him. He's pretty difficult, and there is a lot of bad Twisted Fates out there. That's why he's not as higher on my list. He's a lot of the Twisted Fates I see. Even I'm a pretty bad Twisted Fate. I used to be good. Like I'm good at split pushing, but I'm not so good at the ganking part. So yeah, Twisted Fate is, you need to get those ganks, and you can really do it. And junglers really like Twisted Fate too, because you can gank his lane really easily because you can stun, and he does a lot of damage, and he can split push. He has a lot of things he can do. He's just squishy. Like his team fight is like the worst part about him. That's his weakness. Is his team fight. Sure, he can hit everyone with his he can CC and he can do his wild cards, but the problem is he's not as good as other APs in a team fight situation, but his ganking and his like all of his strengths are like so much better than a lot of champions, and that's why he's number 4 on my list. Alright, number 3. I'm gonna stick with this, and this, she might get nerfed, but I'm going Evelynn. Evelynn is, I was gonna put her on like a special mention, but they didn't nerf her last patch when I thought they would, so Evelynn definitely gets to stay here. And Evelynn is a very good champion. Like, she's come out, she's amazing. M5 was like, this champion's broken, and she just, you rush Deathfire on her, you get boots of mobility, you can go source shoes, but boots of mobility is so good, and you just gank all day, and you're just good to go. And if you're, the only weak time she has is until she gets her ult, so that's her weak time, is you just have to stall out mid. But the thing is, a lot of all you have to do is like play safe, and then you're good, and then you're like, then you wreck the rest of the game. You do like crazy amounts of damage. You Deathfire, you ult, then they're like pretty much dead, and you have steroid for your movement speed. That just is great skill, and you get a shield for your ult, and it's, oh my god, she's just a crazy good champion. Definitely pick her up if she's not nerfed. 100% get this champion. Next up, this one was tricky. I was contemplating choosing this for number 1, but it's definitely gonna be number 2, and that's Katarina. Now, they might be like, oh, she just gets shut down by CC. Oh, her ult. No, it's the fact is her laning is decent because she's manaless, and but the thing that makes her so good is team fights. If you wait it out and then you go into a team fight, you will destroy, because your cooldowns will just be so spammable, and she's just amazing. Because things that make her is her ferocity here. Let's see, that's good right there. It's just, and when you get a kill, your cooldowns refresh, so you can spam your spells like so quick, and it's just really good. And she's definitely number 2. No, she's not number 2. She could definitely be number 1. So I'm kind of expecting Riot to nerf her though. So that's Prom, but she's a really good champion, and should not underestimate her by any means. And I would say get her as well. Finally, numero uno. I'm thinking a lot of people won't like this one, but Zara. Zara's my number 1. I was contemplating picking Cat, because Cat has so much damage. The thing that Zara has is loads of CC. She has a snare, she has an AoE knockup, and she is like the slow. And her plants do so much damage that people forget about them. Like, people forget about her plants, but they do lots. She's incredible. She's lots of damage. She can definitely kill your, like, she wins lots of mids. Like, I don't know any like mids she truly loses, but she's just so good, and like junglers love her, and her weakness, unlike Cat, Eve, and Twisted Fate, is ganking. I feel like her ganking is kind of lackluster, but her team fights are so good, and her laning is so good that she's definitely here. I think she falls off a little bit late game, but I don't really put myself to that. I'm not going to guarantee that. She's definitely number 1. I wouldn't say get her as much as Cat or Eve right now, but she is definitely, like, won't be. I can't see her being nerfed compared to the other champions on my list here. So definitely play Zara. She's really good. yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments down below on how I can improve, or any negative or positive comments. I want to see your comments, and you can choose the next role that I do. You know, I have a list all set up here for jungle and AD and support, but you know, just go ahead, let me know. Thanks for watching.